Did You See Me? This was requested by G. Gibsly. Everyone loves this song, and for great reason. It really is a fantastic song, one of the highlights on Shinola. And I feel like honestly, there's of most of the Ween songs of top, this is probably one of the ones that has the most discrepancies between what I'm really confident in here. Because I'm not here to try and say that any one person is right or wrong about how to play these songs. This is just my opinion. I could be totally wrong about these. I'm just describing what I hear, combining what I hear with what I see them play live. But what I see them play live to me doesn't even sound like what they're doing on the record version. So I'm really, I'm not gonna say that what I'm doing is definitive, but I do pretty definitively believe that what I'm teaching, as far as I can tell, is what the right things are. But it's definitely different than what I see a lot of people do. So if you think I'm wrong, I would love to learn more, and I would love to know how to properly play this. But I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. Um, so with that out of the way, so the tuning, first of all, the rhythm part, the acoustic guitar part on the record, and the rhythm part that Giner plays live, that's going to be in standard tuning. My guitar right now is in drop D. Of course, it's just, low E is now a D, and the rest is just standard. That's what Diener is playing, and with the exception of a couple key chords where you can't really do the lower note, you don't really need to have standard in order to play the song. It's just a little quirk. So yeah, it's totally fine if you learn it in drop D. So get that iconic beginning strumming part. And right away we have a little bit. So it's D minor. And your strumming is very important because you don't want to stop strumming. You want to keep the strumming pretty constant. It's just a matter of dynamics, of lowering the volume of your strums and the intensity. But you constantly have it keep it going in the background and just accent it for certain parts, right? So you don't want to go. You want to go. Like that. So it's D minor, and it goes to a C major. Now, when you see him do it live, he's doing this kind of thing. He's lifting like one finger off, or he's maybe doing the middle finger, like to the open, or maybe he's doing a little. But so when he does that live, yes, I admit that's when he does it, but I can definitely hear the lower notes of a C chord there, and the top three notes would just be open, first, and then open. So, and that's just the higher notes of a C chord. So I'm pretty sure he's just switching to an open C there, in my opinion. Now there is a part later on where I think he is just kind of fiddling around on the D like that on the record, but I'll get to that in a minute. So. And then he alternates those, and then he goes to this another one, A minor 7, right? Now when you see him play it live, it's an A minor, a normal A minor, and he's lifting the finger off to do the open B. And we want that same rhythm, but on the album, I am like 99% sure that it's an A minor 7 because I absolutely hear that open G note in there. So you kind of do that. So you want that. It's a really cool sound. Sounds really epic. And then we get into an A7, and how I think he voices it is just it's like an A, just second fret on the D through B strings, and then a third fret on your high E. He could maybe start off like that with the open G and then transition into that. I fully admit that. So that's the rhythm part for like the first half of the song basically. And then we get into the part where the lyrics come in, and so this is the part where I think he's just you can either, he's just, when he says, "Did you see me?" he goes, so lift off just a little hammer on there on the G string. And you can also throw in the, so like a, did you see me? Come down on the sand and see beneath me. Right, so that's an F there. And you can also, not sure if he's doing this, but it kind of sounds like he maybe, I'm not going to say that for certain though. It's probably just a normal F from like the D string down. But you could, if you wanted to, do an F major 7. Because the note he's saying there is an E, which would be that open E string. I actually really like how it sounds. But, so it's an F, and then C. And then a G major. I'm not going to hit that low note because it would be wrong because I'm in drop D. So, right, but it's just a G major chord. And the timing on those shots of the F is very important. It says, come down on the sand. And so it's like right after he says the word sand, come down on the sand and see. It's a beautiful part. Sounds awesome. And that's just really great. And then that's basically just, the other part where it does that is the is the ending, and it just ends on the G. That's how the song ends. And then you get into the lead parts. And so I guess the first thing to tackle would be that little sort of solo that he has in the intro, right? When the guitar finally kicks in after the bass and all that. So great sounding part. Very, David Gilmour. So bend up here on the 12th of the G. Very Gilmour bend, slow. But full step bend. Let it ring out. Hit it a couple times and then bring it back down. So, right. And then we go. Just kind of hits that. You could pick both of those or slide down, either way. Right? And then he kind of goes. Right, so. And then makes his way up 12, 14. And then so hammer on there. 12 of the G and then come back to the 14 on the D. And then similar thing that you did with the G, except you're making your way up, right? And then you come back down. And then end on the 12 of the A. And then that's how that part ends. And then you get that low D in there. You're kind of strumming. You're kind of focusing on not so much the higher strings where your fingers are. It's more so you're focusing on like the lower and middle strings on this part. So it's a really cool part, right? So sounds really ominous. So that's just let that ring out, and then so you're gonna like hit that G string. Let me turn it up here. You're gonna hit that G string and then hammer on, and then B. Then back to G, and then hit those lower strings again, right? So that's that theme he keeps bringing back on that chord. and then right. So and then this A minor 7, it does this. So again, kind of the same thing you're doing with the acoustic, you're just being a lot more plain about it. Instead of strumming the whole thing, you're just arpeggiating a bit and really emphasizing that. Right, so. But you're throwing in those other notes. And then again. And then he does that, and then the last time through where it gets really epic, I know there's like a synth part, but there's also, I think the bass does this. They go, but I'm pretty sure that the guitar at least kind of does that. So it's like, so that's just, it's just a very quick little hammer on there of 5 to 7, and then 5, 3, 2, 0. And then it goes similar vamping one more time through, and then that's how you get back into the part where the lyrics are. Now that part there, you could just like hit the 2nd fret. What I like to do, and what they seem to do live, and they might be doing on the album, but I'm not sure. You could bend a tiny bit, but not too much on the 2nd fret. I like to bend a little bit further on the 1st fret. It's kind of tricky to do, but I think it has a bit of a smoother sound than the. But either way, you get the point. Did you see me come down on the sand and see? Believe me. So the lead part is kind of vamping on those similar chords in a very similar manner. And then, well, there's a lead part during that on the album where there's an electric guitar that's just, it's very distorted. It's just kind of like mimicking the vocal melody. So like, waving it free in the tree during that part. So like very sustained, not a lot of like vibrato. It's just sort of doing that as like a texture flavor thing, right? So I hear it like waving it free. It kind of comes in on that phrase. Right, so just sustaining that on the 9 of the G, and then coming back down on the 5, and then like a 5th on the D, and then slide up from the 7 to 9. Slide back down on the 7 and just try and sustain those. Right? And then a big part here is the, whatever you want to call it, the bridge, the solo. I'm not sure if I'd call it a solo, but the big epic part that everyone knows about. So there's definitely at least 2 guitars on the album. There might be a third, and they kind of switch up what they do, but not that much. So the 2 basic parts, so there's this part. Right, so that sounds rad. So what that is right. So 6 5 6 on the B, and then just 1 fret up, 7 6 7 on the G, and then on the D string, the 7 and 6 frets again. But instead of doing the 3, you would do the right, and then 8 to 7 on the A. And then, and I'm pretty sure he's picking every single one of these notes, right? So don't, like, you could slide, but it'll sound more like it if you pick them, right? So, all right, so that's I mean, you can see what I'm picking. And by the way, that's 3 to 1 to 0. Don't go 3 2 0. So that's right. So right? So that's that part. And he's very like, he's basically, you kind of want to pinch those. You don't want to try and get a solid pinch harmonic for every one of them, but just sort of like add that pinchy flavor to them when you hit them. Hit them with a lot of like, you know, really rake into them, or frap as Diener would say. I know I say that a lot, but you know, I've just always called it raking into them, but I don't want to disrespect the Diener, right? We want that kind of vibe. And then for the higher part, he's going to do a similar thing. Same pattern, it's just a harmony. So up here, 10 of the high E, 10 to 9, back to 10, and then just one string down, and then one string down again. All right, so, and then it's going to slide down the G. So 7, 5, and then it's a pretty cool harmony. So and then 5, 5, 4, 5, then 7, 5, 4, 5, then back to 4, then 2 open G, and then open D. Right? And so on the album, and when you see him do it live, he ends this phrase. He kind of does this phrase more so. But sometimes, and you can hear it on the album too, sometimes he'll end the phrase like with a, he'll end that with a, so you can either just do the 3-2 open of the low E string, and you can also kind of bar it to get that power chord in there, right? He does that a lot live, and you can hear him do it on the album from time to time, where it's the guitars start to get buried under that bubbly synth thing. And that's pretty much it. There's a lot of really cool parts, and it's a sight to behold when they play this one. You really can't go wrong. It's just such a great song, and everyone's on point. It's such a wonderfully psychedelic tune, and it rocks really hard. It's really epic, and I'm so glad that you are down with learning it, and that you did. Hopefully, I hope you got a lot out of this lesson, and see you later.